Hi, this is Brian from Binge Buddies, along with pretty much everybody else from Binge Buddies, minus Graham, and we're really excited to say that next week our show is finally coming out. I know I said it would come out sooner than now, but when I needed a break, I actually needed a break, so I went and took a legitimate vacation. First time I've done that in like almost 10 years of podcasting, so I'm rather proud of myself. But that means who, what, when, where, and why we do in the shadows is actually coming out 1 week from today. But in the meantime, we do have one more bonus episode coming from Super GG Radio. Joel, do you want to tell people what it is?
So we talked about video games and all things adjacent. This is the all things adjacent part. We decided to rewatch the original Mortal Kombat movie and then watch the newest one. And we sort of covered both of them and then do a compare contrast as best you can do with those two movies. There's quite a lot of things to talk about with that. But we hope you enjoy.
I am so excited for everyone to listen to this thing because, as we all know, both those movies are flawless, right? Right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Thanks. See you next week. Bye.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Mortal Kombat!
What's good, Internet, and welcome to Super GG Radio, part of NPR of Illinois. We're here today. I am your host, Alex Arona, and we're having a special episode, Super GG Radio at the Movies, where we're talking Mortal Kombat? Both of them. With me, as always, my co-host, Joel DeWitt. Hey, Joel, what's going on?
Mortal Kombats. Mortals Kombat? Mortal
Kombat?
Mortals Kombats.
Okay. That sounds right. Also with us, as always, Eric Getty Gettinger. Hey, Getty, what's going on?
And now, a taste of things to come.
Quick, Getty, say your soul is mine.
Nope.
Damn it. I was ready for it. I have it written down. And producer extraordinaire, live streamer, despite us not live streaming this, Alec Parks. What's going on? I called you Double Alex. How you like that?
I do like it. It's good to always hear my name as much as I can. But wait, we're talking about Mortal Kombat? So these two forests and two others to cast my Combat Wombat isn't what we're doing?
Nope.
Oh.
Put away those
There's a lot of
match
sentences
cards.
in there that confused me. A lot of words. I like Combat Wombat, though. Now, if only we had a Mortal Kombat Wombat.
Ooh.
We can make one.
We can make this happen. We are here today to talk about Mortal Kombat. We watched the 1995 one, we watched the 2021 one, and we have some thoughts. We want to kind of go over each one. I set this up, guys, so you guys can kind of sit back. We're going to go through the first movie, second movie.
Scene by scene.
Line by line. I
Break
got them
it
written down.
by the minutes.
Exactly, Getty. We're going to watch them live. Strap in, listeners. 4 hours. No, we're not going to do that. Okay, well,
God,
first
can you
movie.
imagine
Yeah.
if we did a live reaction?
If we did it at double speed, maybe.
No.
I mean, we could do Amazon
speed.
stream-alongs now. I think we could do Amazon stream-alongs.
Sure.
I think that's up there, isn't it?
I mean, it probably is. Amazon does that for most things now, as long as you rent it. 1995, we were generally 10.
Generally. It was a magical year. People were just finding out about the internet. I had a cell phone.
I had a
Times
crush
were
on
more
this
innocent
Sonya
back
Blade.
then.
It was because of Billy Madison, right? That's why
Yes.
you had a crush on her? Okay.
Wait, it's her?
Yes.
Want to touch the hiney.
How did I not notice that?
Fine.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Yeah.
think she was in a ton, Joel.
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like when you go back and watch Billy Madison and realize how stacked that cast was.
Yep. And she had... she was in Modern Family, too, right?
Yeah, but in this... no, she wasn't in Modern Family. She was in Happy Gilmore.
Modern
That's
Family?
the actress you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. This is going great, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't talked about any Mortal Kombats. This is
You guys keep derailing us. Okay, so 1995. I remember this. I obviously didn't go to the theater. I had to go to a friend's house who had this on VHS, and it was fantastic. I wasn't at that point. I remember even playing it, but I don't necessarily remember a ton, except for it was bloody, and there was gore. One of the first gore games, had a little bit of gore in it. So, Joel, do you have any kind of like history with the movie, 1995 movie? Well, you had never seen it, right?
I have seen the first one, yeah.
Okay.
I remember enjoying it quite a bit. I mean, who doesn't if you were a kid in the 90s and liked Mortal Kombat? It is a product of its time. Let's put it that way. Like, when I immediately thought of this after watching it, my mind was like, this is kind of like that Three Ninjas movie with the three kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's about that line of quality. But when you're a kid, you're just like, oh, cool. They're playing Super Mario 3, and they also know how to be ninjas. So it's that level with me.
Yeah, the costume design looked very smocky, very. It didn't look like it was natural. The ninjas in general, like Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and later Reptile, those costumes do not look like real comfortable ninja attire. I just gotta say that.
No, but they very much looked like the video game.
yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. It didn't have to look like it was built for mobility. It was supposed to remind you of the game.
Yep.
It was built directly, like it was taken from the game, and that's
sure.
good. Except for, if you think about it, when they built that game, they kind of were just grasping at straws for costume design. Like, I don't know, we have one ninja. Let's just change the color at them. Like they weren't really high quality costumes in the game either.
No.
Those original
Not at all.
games, there was some sort of like photo rendering, right? Because if I recall right, they like literally recorded these people doing the kind of stances and the bobbing and weaving back and forth, and so in that sense, yeah, it's kind of cool that they went with game realistic kind of stuff. Because think about how many video game movies there were back then, not many, and the fact that this one came out and it actually lended itself really well to the kind of aesthetic of the game itself. That I think it's to its credit.
Yeah, and I did also want to say this was where CGI really kind of started to become apparent. You started to see people pushing the boundaries of what you could create. Seeing, in this case, Reptile was a little small lizard creature. You saw Scorpion with his living spear that came out of his hand.
Which, again, 16 years ago, that was cool.
Not so much now, huh, Alec?
It was
16 years ago. Let's
No,
hop
wait.
back in the time machine and go back another 10 years.
What is it? Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. 26 years ago. Oh man.
Oh,
Arguably, you can even say that if you go to certain parts of time, CGI still, CGI always looks kind of dated depending on what you're looking at. People love the Matrix 2 fight with Mr. Smith, and that kind of now is not looked upon fondly. Going into it, I do want to say we got Reptile versus Liu Kang. We got Johnny Cage versus Scorpion. Sub-Zero versus Liu Kang. Johnny Cage versus Goro. Sonya versus Kano. I want to hear some favorites.
Johnny Cage versus Scorpion. And the only reason I say that is that he drags him to hell, and then in the Scorpion voice he goes, "Welcome."
As he pops up behind him.
It's so bad.
I like that he had the skull that spit fire.
Yes, true to
Yes.
form on that. Aesthetically, there's some cool stuff there. The Goro fight is an interesting one, except the problem is that number one, Goro is like twice as tall as he should be. Like his abdomen is weirdly long. Like if you think about that lawn cat meme, that's basically what Goro's doing there.
But at the time, again, you have to think about it, and they were like, Jesus, this guy has 2 sets of arms. how do we try and make him look semi-normal? And they
I
were
was like,
like,
don't-
well, I guess just make his torso bigger. And
I was like, don't say realistic.
not realistic, but semi, like, normal. What were
Yeah.
they going to do, like, put the other arms at his hips? That would have looked even worse. A regular-sized dude with arms coming out of his hips.
I don't know. I don't want to see that now.
No.
They would need to like make his torso thicker so that they could be slightly offset and at a normal-ish distance apart, and not have him like in a straight line.
So you want a dummy thick Doro then?
Yeah, those cheeks are clapping.
I kind of blacked out there for a second. Okay. Johnny Cage using a split punch, always a crowd favorite. I kind of liked that this, in 1995's version, they introduced the... I don't know if introduce is the word, but they definitely used audio from the game. Say when Reptile appears, it actually does the voice Reptile. You know, like a character select. I think those kinds of additional pieces really add a lot of flair. Also, Techno for Days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've really
it
made the
must have
fights pop.
Yeah. It musically has a theme going for it, right? Was that sort of a thing of its time though, that kind of techno music? It's been
Oh, absolutely. Think about
yeah.
I think Blade came out around the same
Blade.
time.
That's
It was a
movie
little
we
bit
should
later,
talk about
but-
sometime.
Yeah, but they need to... we'll see. Maybe they're going to remake it, but yeah, I distinctly remember Blade being real heavy on the techno.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think 92, 90, 96. I think that techno was really big. I remember the local radio station would play techno from like 8 p.m. till 3 a.m. Generally that was pretty common.
Get some Quad City DJs in there.
Yeah, see, exactly. That was
Have
what
you
was
not
hot.
like tuned into the radio really late on a Saturday night?
It's probably still the same, but now
Like
it's more
10
dubstep.
o'clock. I think 10 o'clock they start to do the techno vibes again. It's like 10 o'clock mashup. We're going to throw as many techno beats as you as possible.
Daddy, we're on a video game podcast. I think you know what I was doing at 10 o'clock at night.
Adjacent. Sleeping? It's sleeping.
It's sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll call it that.
Getty, did you have any fights that were your favorite?
I mean, I sincerely appreciate how cheesy the fighting and the action is. For how short-lived the Johnny Cage and Goro fight is, I like that one. But Sonya really doesn't get to fight that much, so her final, like, getting to fight with Kano, I
Yeah.
do appreciate that. Because that's one of the few, like, storylines that seems to, like, they're shoving it down your throat through the course of the movie. It's like, she irrationally, like, runs onto this mystery boat that's decrepit so that she can be part of the fight. And then after however long, it feels like forever, actually gets him in a position where she can fight him.
Did we lose Alex?
I think we lost him.
I'm here. I didn't hear Getty.
Okay.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
lost Getty. Yep. I heard gets him in a position that she can.
fight
Yep.
him.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I was like.
What do you think I was
going
going to say?
No, we didn't hear
Don't
anything.
edit it.
That's why I waited.
We haven't talked about Raiden yet, have we? And they call him Raiden here. Is it Raiden or Raiden in these? I always went Raiden.
Raiden was Metal Gear Solid. Raiden was Mortal Kombat.
Fine. Who's that actor? Who is he?
Christopher
It is
Lambert?
Christopher Lambert,
Oh, okay. Like he
the Highlander.
is having fun with this movie, and
Yeah, he's
he
really
just-
hamming
he-
it up. He's giving like the cheesy laughs.
It's exactly like it's that he'll have a smart ass comment, and then he'll like he's laughing at his own jokes, and I don't know. It's just it is dumb enough to be really really funny and work well.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a little bit whitewashy, but I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
It's 1995, but we are where we are. I
Not
did.
to mention those martial arts in any of the fight scenes were just so terrible. So terrible.
They would slow mo when the impact hits to kind of make it so if you see someone go flying, you'd see them slow mo to kind of avoid or edit out wires. You'd see a lot more flips than physics would allow. Let's just say that.
Yes.
I pulled some of my favorite notable quotes. Those were $500 sunglasses. Johnny Cage saying that to Goro, and Goro breaks his sunglasses. Your soul is mine. Shang Tsung, the way he says it, he says that with a real emphatic, like his lips and mouth are fully enunciating that in a.
You play your cards right. I'll say it later. I know that
Please.
Joel
I feel like
already
there should've been
requested that I record some flavor for this, so
Daddy,
we'll
test
take-
your might.
I already recorded that.
Sweet.
I feel like there should have been spit coming from your soul is mine. I feel like.
Didn't they get him for one of the games to come back? Like I thought one of the Mortal Kombat games they got Shang Tsung as like a DLC character, and they got him to voice act it.
I don't know if it was the one from the movie though.
Maybe.
I thought it might have been the original Shang Tsung. I that one I can't really say. The last quote I have is, "This is where you fall down." After that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Why so many
Cage
Johnny
beats
Cage
Goro.
quotes?
I mean, there are
he's-
plenty. I was trying to avoid like swears because there's a lot of swears in like the second one. I can't get any quotes really that are worthwhile at all.
No, it's not that
No.
quotable. It's by far the better movie. It's this movie has quips for days, and Johnny Cage is the king of quips, and he's also the ass that's made the butt of jokes a few times in it too. So, and that's sort of just his role in the movie.
That makes sense to me. Though you did I have one cool little tidbit. Johnny Cage, they approached Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he did not join this movie because instead he wanted to do Guile from Street Fighter.
Solid choice.
I just checked, and they got the actor who played Shang Tsung to come back for Mortal Kombat 11 and do voice and physical likeness.
There we go.
There you go. I thought I heard that right. Yeah, that's some great homage to yourself kind of stuff. It's kind of like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I think they had Mega Man in it, except it was box art Mega Man.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So, all right, Joel, you did say one thing that kind of stuck out to me. You said that Mortal Kombat 2021 is the better movie.
Yes. Is that surprising?
No, I mean, tell me about it. Keep going with that. Why?
Tell
do
me
you feel
in
like
detail why it's better, and
Right.
also cite specific instances.
I
Show
need
your work.
citations.
Yep.
Show your work.
So, the only fault I really have in the new Mortal Kombat movie is that it's a very expected sort of like awakening your inner power kind of story, which is pretty standard for these kind of movies. But like overall, number one, I don't have a problem with the main character being a non-name. Like I think that's kind of a nice way to have a character be outside of the Mortal Kombat universe in a way that lets him interact with all the characters. I think that Sub-Zero's a real badass in a really, really cool way in this movie. And they make him into this huge force to be reckoned with the entire time. Like he's arguably like more dangerous to the people than Shang Tsung in the movie here. Just because Shang Tsung does almost nothing except transport people.
He seems to be like the hired assassin, the hired gun for Shang Tsung.
Right, exactly. And you know, I liked the intro part. Like it's a nice preamble to the entire movie. How they had the fight between him and then the lineage of the. To correct myself, Sub-Zero's Lin Kuei tribe.
Yes.
Okay, and then the other guy was from what clan? I can't remember.
They don't go into it.
Okay.
They mentioned it briefly. If you do some looking up in it, I guess he brought secrets of ninjutsu or something, the ability to control energy from China to Japan, and that's why he was being hunted.
Okay. All right.
But it's
yeah,
it's Shirai Ryu clan.
That's it.
there you go. Yeah. So clearly there's some sort of pre-show animosity towards each other, and this scene of slaughter that is like it's a good sort of primer, and honestly, like in some ways that was more brutal than the rest of the movie. Like there was some gnarly slices and chopping off of limbs, and that fight between him and the Daihyo Sub-Zero, where he's using that sort of dagger kind of thing attached to the rope and actually doing really awesome moves with it. It was really dynamic and exciting, more so than I honestly expected as a intro. And I think they really do a good job of finding right people to play these characters. I think Kano especially. Kano was a perfect choice between his dialogue, that sort of stupid but brutal aspect of his, and the betrayals that he's inclined to have. Like, it all lines up perfectly with that. So I have little complaints about this movie. I think all in all, the worst part about it is that it is a little standard fare format.
Okay.
It is a little standard fare format. And if you were looking for a Mortal Kombat movie to be specifically about a tournament, then you're not going to get that here.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the start of that, obviously. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
I was gonna say that was really my big complaint about it too. Was like, I think the first thing I said after I watched it was, "But where's the tournament?"
Yeah, and
Well-
I do understand that to a degree. Like the games are about a tournament. In the movie here, they talked about how you're on the Earthrealm's 9th loss, and this is the last chance for Earthrealm to be saved. So it is set up from the start of like the states are on the table there, but then it's weirdly kind of like a filler episode between episodes of the actual tournament. But
It's world building,
Yeah.
I think, honestly. I think you have to establish those characters. You have to kind of start the team off. I mean, okay. You have the team, but then half the team died. So, like the Earthrealm Warriors. So you have to address where they're at coming into the tournament.
sure,
Their team has been hunted. Their team has been taken down, but they fought back. So both sides are kind of hurting going into the big tournament. Movie 2, let's go.
right? They do definitely frame it as the Earthrealm just basically getting like a ragtag group of nobodies to join up with the actual fighters to prepare themselves for it. And I kind of like the way they did like the dragon marking as sort of like in a token of showing like who's worthy to be part of the entrance. And they set it up really well at the start about how like when Jax picks up Cole and starts driving away, within seconds you're already informed about, oh well, this is going on and X amount of people have already been killed. We're trying to get you out of here, kind of thing. And poor Jax at the start. Poor Jax.
Man.
He is a badass taking on Sub-Zero by himself, doing okay. Gets his fucking arms frozen and chopped off, and then kicked off a ledge. It's brutal.
It is. It's gory as hell. It really is. I thought that I mean, I the list of fights I have, Sub-Zero is pretty much taking on everybody. Sub-Zero versus Cole, Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, Sub-Zero versus Jax. He was. I found myself feeling nervous every time he was on screen, and that reminded me of the Terminator.
Yeah,
just
I think that.
Just this like driving force that's constantly a threat following you around. I thought that was a neat trick.
Yeah, I think he was the primary antagonist of the whole thing. Like, Shang Tsung is just the shadow in the background, being the sort of the puppet master behind the scenes, but it's Sub-Zero the entire way as the main enemy, the main threat, leading up to even the final encounter where it's Cole in that ring fighting with them, and then Scorpion showing up from hell to take him on too, and it takes both of them to take him down in that case. So it's, yeah, he is the number one enemy out of all of them.
Getty, where are you at with Mortal Kombat 2021?
It was definitely a movie. I can verify that information. I would agree that it's probably the superior of both of the films. It definitely has cheesy aspects to it, but they did the same thing in the first one. Going back and watching that, they used the taglines like flawless victory, and they really pander with lines like that, but at the same time, the character development is a lot more flushed out in the newer film, and in the introduction scene that Joel was explaining, it made me feel almost like the beginning of a really good anime because of how dramatic the fight was, and just the action sequences. It's something that I can picture like a two-dimensional, like with the dynamic colors of two warriors fighting in a field. So
yeah, dynamic's a perfect word. It's just really fluid, especially with the pike on a rope, and going between that and Sub-Zero's actions. It's great choreography.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you there. What I would have liked to see more of, the action fighting scenes are there. I definitely felt like, I don't know, some of it was not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see like more of the tournament, right? But knowing that that's not the way that Shang Tsung wanted to play it, he's trying to eliminate everybody before the tournament even begins. It opens it up for when the actual tournament starts to see people like Johnny Cage. I think that Kano was probably a good filler for Johnny Cage. They would have had really bombastic personalities. I think they would have had some good jabs at each other and gone back and forth. There was one character that really bothered me. The Tin Man.
The
Tin Man?
Who?
The robot guy.
Oh, you didn't like... I like Stryker.
That wasn't his name.
No, wasn't it Stryker? Let me check.
It's not his
I could be
name.
wrong.
I don't think it was Stryker.
Isn't it Cyrax?
No.
No.
It's not. I know Cyrax. That's not Cyrax. I'm pulling it up now, just for reference.
I got nothing. I mean, I watched this movie, but I don't know which Tin Man you're talking about. I can't even picture
he's
the
got a
scene.
gas mask on and two curved swords. I'm pulling him now.
Yeah, I'd recognize the character from the games.
Oh, I'm
itself.
sorry. It
I
was
just-
Cabal.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
His
Stryker
movements were so
was Sonya
ridiculous.
Stryker was a cop. He was a police
Yeah.
officer.
But his movements were so ridiculous, it made it seem like he could just defeat everybody. And then he meets an untimely end, which is still funny, but really silly, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Well, that was-
there are. Yeah,
ahead,
there are a
Jeff,
few
go ahead.
moments where these creatures get sort of dispatched unceremoniously. So like the flying harpy creature thing when she's going after Kun Lao, and Kun Lao just throws the damn hat spinning on the ground,
yes.
and he just rides her straight into it. It's just
Flawless victory.
Yeah, and I agree with Daddy. Like those comments do sort of bring you out of it. I get it's supposed to be like fan service, fanfare stuff, but for a movie that's trying to take itself relatively seriously, it does sort of like take you out of what's happening a little bit. It's like, yeah, that's the line.
That was the thing for me, was that they actually had, those were notable fatalities. So I felt like that was pretty interesting to see some of these, like where he throws the head on the ground and buzzsaws her across. That
Right.
I think the arm rip was one of them as well. That was very. I liked Cabal. His ability to run very fast was in Mortal Kombat the games. You could spin. You'd run past somebody and they'd spin in a circle comedically, and they would just spin and they'd be stunned at like spinning like a top. So that's kind of where I'm at with Cabal.
Don't forget about Liu Kang's fatality, the big fire dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad it wasn't the Mortal Kombat 1 where it was literally just like a spin kick and a uppercut in the air or something.
I think that
I was really
Go ahead.
hoping to see what it was. One of Sub-Zero's fatality was pulling the head and spinal column off.
Yeah.
I was kind of
Yep.
hoping to see that.
It's funny. I mean, there are a few of them where they show it, like those two. They show Kano early on ripping the heart out of
Reptile.
Reptile. There you go. Yeah.
Which, again, one of the reasons why Kano was great. He had some of the best one-liners in this. Kano wins.
Of
He
course,
he sells it so well. That's part of why it works, is that he embodies that character and makes it his own flavor of it. And it works. It works.
and it's they didn't go as far as in 1995 where they like legitimately took the sound files from the game. Here they're obviously having Kano just say it in kind of like a silly reference. I think that does still throw back to the games in a fun way. It's a wink and a nod as opposed to a direct take. The one that impressed me was Kung Lao consistently tripping. Was it Kung Lao or no? It was Liu Kang constantly
Kang.
tripping Kano.
Yeah. That's very reminiscent of the games, isn't it?
That was kind of
Everybody.
just tripped.
Oh, man. Yep. The first time you play Mortal Kombat, it's just, Liu Kang's just ground kicking you. Son of a.
Yep, just trip. That's that you could ride that to a win in a lot of cases. Alec, you're not as familiar with Mortal Kombat, are you?
No, I played like the first 3 games and maybe one of the Sub-Zero story RPG action games.
Those were rough. Those were real rough.
Yeah, they were.
The
Fighters have never really been my strong suit, but yeah, I definitely got all. There were no references that I feel like I missed.
No,
That's
more
good.
or less, if you've played the games from the 90s, you have enough of a foundation to understand things. I've got a question for everybody. How did everybody feel about Cole's Arcana ability?
Getty, you want to start?
Sure.
Maybe describe what the Arcana is first.
He was able to grow like a second set of skin on the outside of his body that would absorb energy, and he'd be able to dole it back out. I think Joel hit it on the head earlier when he was like, did he become the Black Panther? And I think that in a way is what it is, but at the same time, it's not anything that I've seen in Mortal Kombat, or even the thought of it. A lot of the characters, their super abilities are something either obnoxiously superficial or still over the top ridiculous when it comes down to it, like a laser eye or being able to freeze people. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was something different, and it did allow him to go toe to toe with Goro.
Yes. They killed Goro in the first movie.
I was surprised by that. That one, that was the turn I was not expecting.
Yeah, I it's been so long. I think there are technically other Goro-like characters in the series.
It's a race of people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's kind of a muted power compared to everything else. Like it's very the change is very almost superficial look, and like I think Daddy, you mentioned that he has like 2 sort of
Tantos.
Oh yeah, he can
I don't know what they're called.
pull him out.
Tantos.
Yeah, but it's not bad. I mean, you consider the main character in this movie is kind of muted and uninteresting. It kind of matches that a little.
He's good at getting beat up. They established that early on.
Right, so he's basically Homer Simpson boxing. He just lets people tire himself out before he hits back and finishes the match. But
I think they kind of said that. Yeah, they like just take the hit, keep getting hit.
yeah, but it works. It's fine. I mean, he doesn't need to have the most outlandish thing. Everybody else has the crazy abilities, so he can just be sort of the stand-in character for everyone.
Yeah, he's the audience surrogate. Though, again, I thought his power was weak. One comment, I have a couple notes for that. First being that in the games, it's technology that they use their powers for the most part, and less that they just magically have them. I mean, like if you remove Liu Kang's firepower, like, becoming a dragon. The other parts, Sonya, like laser beams and stuff, is more technology based. Same with Kano's eye. So in here they gain an Arcana, which is just an ability that they can then use during combat. Other thing is that they actually got to a point where they had zombie Goro in the games. So Goro has died and has come back as a zombie.
Does he know about this?
I don't know.
I'm sure they could stitch together bits and pieces from other characters to reassemble him, right?
I mean, he's
just
not even
pass
the
off one of his
creepiest
souls.
character in all of the franchise, so...
What is
hope
the
they
most
put
creepy character
Noob
in the whole
Saibot
franchise?
in.
I'm going to have to get back to you. I'm going to do a quick survey on the internet.
Okay.
Is Melina the one with the giant like mouth that opens up and eats people?
Yep.
Yes.
That one's pretty
And
terrifying.
I think she was in this and died.
Yep.
Baraka? You remember Baraka?
That's...
Yeah, with the giant, with the knives.
That dude. Yeah.
Well,
I would argue
they're
that
the
he's
same
one of the
race.
more frightening.
They're the
Yes.
same race. Yeah.
Melina
Nothing's
and
about race
Baraka
today.
are?
No,
Yes.
Goro.
No,
Wait.
Melina and Baraka are.
Okay. Ah,
Yeah, I specifically remember, I think it was Mortal Kombat 2, where his environment was like a pit of acid, and then if he killed you, he'd uppercut you into the acid. That's my distinct memory of
Yep.
Baraka.
So now we would be remiss if we didn't at least talk about the... Like, we've obviously alluded to the video games a bunch. One interesting bit about this is that they have gone through the story and then gotten to the end of the universe, gone back in time, and restarted the story from scratch. Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, is like the first 4 games. Their stories redone in just better graphics. Obviously updated mechanics and abilities and stuff like that, but the storyline has remained the same. Then I believe 11 is like the back half of the games plus more, like the more chapters that go along with it. So I thought that was kind of interesting, where you could relive the tournament, the first game, and a lot of this stuff. A lot of the movies do take quite a bit of good information. I always thought that Scorpion was a villain, and then reading the lore, finding out that Sub-Zero was a real bastard man. That is correct.
Yeah. And the way they weave it into this movie, like, you can tell that Sub-Zero's the antagonist, and Scorpion may be there to help, but he's not really a hero. He's more there to get his revenge and then save his descendant from being murked. So, and again, such a cool battle. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, anytime they fought in this movie, probably one of the most top tier things that happened.
The way they kind of used this movie was they focused on the martial arts, and they focused on having the actors who could do the martial arts. The acting always came second, which is why you get some of like Kano obviously being a standout, but I don't really believe a whole lot of good stuff came out of Cole. There was no need for a whole lot of acting out of Sub-Zero or Scorpion. Jax is a little silly on the on the way he kind of explains the plot. I don't know. I think that it's the right move to use the martial artists, and less of the focus on the acting, because Mortal Kombat doesn't need that high tier. We don't need Oscar quality acting. We need good martial arts. We need choreography that works, and the story is secondary.
Agreed.
But to that, it does have to have some story. It can't be just utter garbage. I'm not just watching the fights, though they are awesome.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole bringing the team together kind of story, and it's I get the point of that. I see both sides of it. Like, I'm gonna be wishy-washy here. I think it is a bummer that they didn't have a tournament. They tried to sort of shoehorn it in at the end when they were like making their counterattack plan. Oh, well, we'll give them a tournament where they just teleport everybody separately to different zones. And Jax actually gets sent to a level. it's that big bridge with like empty spaces in the background to fall off of from the game. So there are some cool allusions to things like that too. But I also see why they would want to use this as a set the table kind of movie, assuming that they're committed to at least 2 or 3 movies. Then you can use the established characters, build off of it to make interesting subplots, and add new characters like Johnny Cage to the festivities. It's just a matter of, like, number one, is that going to happen? Because then it ends right here, and then you don't get any of that. But
yeah,
so
there's a lot of building here. You can still build off of this and expand. I theorize a three arc story. 3 movies, having the third being almost like aftermath if they did lose. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Alec. Go ahead.
It happens. You brought up that fight scene section, which is one of like both my favorite and my most hated part of the movie. It gives you exactly what you want, because if they had focused on any one of those fight scenes for too long to have like an actual fight between them, it would have gotten boring, especially if they did all of them. And that's what made it great. But at the same time, that fight nerd in me, that I want to see those sorts of things, is also kind of like, I want to watch those. I would love it if there was like an extended cut that got released with all of those fights separately that you could just choose to watch. So,
hot take here. One thing that the original movie does better than the new movie is that it creates a certain suspense. So, like, in the actual tournament fights in the original movie, there's always a crowd of people around, and then the main character sort of on the side to react to what's happening. and in that sense, it is kind of a nice add to the sort of sense of, like, oh, this is serious, and even the heroes are worried about this kind of thing.
Yeah, discussion between Johnny Cage and Sonya. Like, hey, baby, I don't want you to get hurt.
Gross. Yeah, and that was one of the things I felt like was a negative side of the new movie, was that a lot of these fights took place solely separate, to the point that I thought was like, well, you don't know, like, no one knows if they won at all. Like, it's just like, okay, I sure hope Jax, beat Montaro or whatever. I sure hope Sonya defeated Kano, but I don't know. This whole plan could have been just collapsed in on itself, and no one knew. So there was no audience there to kind of make those comments. Now,
how do people feel about Raiden in this movie?
Largely benign.
He was okay.
I liked his attitude, but I don't like. He kind of pissed me off all at the same time. He was very much this is against the rules. I'm not going to break the rules, even though everybody else is, and none of the other guys are going to do shit about it. But I'm not going to break the rules. Damn it,
And then
Raiden, get your hands dirty.
Well, then he breaks the rules anyway later in the movie.
He did.
Like,
No, he
it
still
is-
didn't. He never got involved in the fights, and that's what the rules were. He didn't.
Well, I think by
know.
teleporting people, I think that's kind of where they said,
That's
oh.
influencing the fight a little bit. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, oh, the hero is going to be the benevolent force until he's forced to kind of like bend the rule a little bit just to get away with it.
Yeah.
A lesser version of like the Dark Knight movie where they've got a literal like surveillance system using people's phones to find the Joker. I feel like he was underutilized, and he was mostly used as a plot device to create the electric border to keep the bad guys out so they can have their training moments, right? And it's a disappointing thing that he didn't get more involved in that, because Raiden to me is a really cool character, and it's just he was used as sort of a joke in the first movie. He has potential in this movie, but he was underutilized in my opinion. And so hopefully
I
he'll
question whether he actually helped, because he did the shield and then made it a mechanism that could do the shield, so he could go back to doing nothing.
he already
Suspiciously like this podcast.
I think he was rather benign. He seemed to lack personality. There was like some slight, smirks in there to kind of give him a little something, but I definitely would like to see him engage with the combatants a little bit more, just to have a conversation that's more than like 2 sentences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had that wry smile every so often. And he was just there mostly to provide the shield, sort of tell people whether or not they were going to be worthy. Like, he kicked Cole out at some point. And
He kicked out Sonya, I think.
Yep, kicked out Sonya at some point because she didn't have an Arcana. And he was like, you've got no use here if you don't have this. Which, that's fine. It wasn't his movie to be a main character. And he wasn't really a main character in the first movie either. But hopefully he's a more compelling side character in the follow-up, if there is one.
Well, I mean, they've already kind of hinted that they're trying to do another one, pushing for obvious spoiler Easter egg at the end that they're going off to Hollywood to recruit a fighter, and they pan to the poster of Johnny Cage and his movie Citizen Cage.
Okay, who's it going to be? That's the only thing I care about. That's why I sat through 50 minutes with you guys. Who will play Johnny Cage?
Nathan Fillion.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell is everything.
It needs to be a youngish guy.
Nathan Fillion's too old.
Well, it needs to be somewhere between like starting career and washed up. Because I always got the sense that Johnny Cage was like slightly past his prime, but still a moneymaker. Like even that poster, it looked more Jean-Claude Van Damme than The Rock.
John Cena.
So
I hear John Cena. There's obviously fan casting jokes for Ryan Reynolds. Would be another one.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds just doesn't have the physique. He's more athletic.
yeah,
I feel like he
not
can
only
get
that, but
the pecs.
he doesn't. His humor is not quite there either for me. Like I like Ryan Reynolds as an actor, and I find it very.
Yeah, but you kind of want a
funny most of what he
douchebag,
does.
right?
Yep.
Exactly, and like he can do half douchebag, but I've never seen him do full douchebag.
We need smarmy.
You never go full douchebag.
Okay, Van Wilder, he was pretty douchey, but
Who would be
besides
good smarm? Who could give good smarm?
That sounds dirty.
It does. I think John Cena would. John Cena ain't bad. He ain't bad.
Luke Wilson.
trying to think who
He'd
else.
have to do a lot of physical training, I think. He's not.
Yeah, and right now he is not up to
Action-y.
shape.
He's not an action
Okay.
guy.
Who's the actor that was Captain America again?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. I could maybe see him.
Scott Pilgriming it up. Yeah, I could. That might
Yeah,
be.
he was kind of a shithead in that movie.
Yeah, it was. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Viggo Mortensen.
Too
Alec,
old.
I think you're kind of out of movies, man. You're picking
do-
some
do
real
you-
old people.
Do you realize that he's aged since Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I feel like
Why?
you're really picking like some of these. Alec, you haven't been to the movies in a while.
No,
And just like
I haven't.
just like the guy who played Sam. I always see him in this movie, and then you see him in Stranger Things, and he's just like a over the middle aged guy. Is like, wait, that didn't happen. He's still Sam.
Sean Astin.
It's funny enough. There is like
Thank you.
Google smarmy
Rudy.
actors, and like you get some like good Chris Pine, Chris Hemsworth. These are good smarmy actors. It's pretty funny. You can actually get a good smarmy actor list.
I wonder if Keanu Reeves could pull it off.
No,
I think he's past his.
Yeah.
he's too old.
Yeah.
Is he?
And he
Yes.
has a lengthy frame too.
Yeah.
So that's a bit challenging there. But
He's graying, my friend. He's gray. Jason Momoa.
Okay.
I've heard that name before. Wait, that's Aquaman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
He could pull smarm.
I'm now also Googling smarmy actors.
Yeah, I think you'd do it. Zac Efron could be a good douche. You ever see Baywatch? He's pretty douchey, and he
No.
was huge.
Did you ever see Neighbors?
Yeah,
He
Neighbors
was a
also.
douche.
But again, if you watch Baywatch, there are abs on abs. It is frightening.
I love that movie.
So,
It's
Baywatch?
just
I did not like
it's
that.
just bad enough to make it
Neighbors
funny.
or Baywatch?
Baywatch.
Oh, Getty, do you want to talk about Baywatch right now? Do you want to? I'll talk
No, I
about
wanted to
Baywatch.
finish. I want to finish him.
Boom. Kano is kind of a racist with some sombrero jokes at Kung Lao. Just wanted to note that here. What do we got for fights? Who's got a favorite fight? Because screw you, Getty. I liked Cabal versus Liu Kang. What is everyone else's favorites? Alec, go.
I'm gonna have to say, solely for the fatality, it was Jax. Jax.
Oh, he
versus-
smashed the guy's
what
head?
the- Yeah. Oh man, that just was so visceral, and you felt all of Jax's anger, and then his line at the end. Yeah, these work.
Good choice. Good choice. Getty, favorite fight?
Probably Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Okay. Classic. Joel?
Getty is definitely the first place choice there, but I will say Kano versus Sonya at the end. That was a really good fight, and the way it wasn't like the other fights where like it was more like some sort of honorable fight between two warriors. It was just a knockout brawl between two people in her house and trying to utilize anything they can get to hit each other with, and the dark shadows thing made it really cool, and then just the fact that she finishes him with the same lawn gnome that he spit on earlier on in the movie. That was a
No, I
nice
didn't catch
touch.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. We have also commented on this, and it's worth discussing. Where does this sit on the pantheon of video game movies? I do not think it's the best, but I feel confident saying that it is top 5. I don't, like around Silent Hill level for me. Detective Pikachu being an obvious number 1. Joel? What do you think on this one?
I would say it is higher than Silent Hill, slightly higher than Monster Hunter, not as good as Resident Evil, and Sonic and Detective Pikachu are at the top.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty definitive list that I disagree on almost entirely. Getty, what you got?
Whatever you solely believe, Alex, just put this above whatever you think is your number 4.
Okay.
All right, so I don't know if I'd say top 5, but I definitely like this as an entry into the video game movie pantheon. I don't know. There's actually some really good movies. I don't know that I would put Silent Hill that high up there, but I'm with Joel with Resident Evil. At the same time, Detective
Hate
Pikachu
those
is
fucking movies.
definitely the clear winner. I would not put Street Fighter anywhere near this list, so
I would higher than any of the
come
Resident
on.
Evils. I hate those movies. I like Street
It's
Fighter.
got Raul Julia in it.
It was one of his last films. R.I.P.
Yeah, poor guy.
That's what I have to say.
That
Alec-
that one line from Raul Julia is like the one good thing about that movie. I'm
You
sorry.
get a Hadouken, you get an Shoryuken, you get a flash kick, you get a 100-hand slap. What else do you need? What you
I
get
would-
a Psycho Crusher? You get what? Kylie Minogue is a treasure.
I would say that they should reapproach Street Fighter. They should just make another anime. Like that world just works better in the.
They've done a
animated
lot of those animes.
realm.
I don't know if you've noticed that. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are bad though, so they should work on making a good one.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I also big JCVD fan over here. Alec, video game movies.
Man, I have a hard time even thinking of video game movies.
The Mario Brothers movie.
Blood
Is
Rain.
it right? Mario
Rain.
and Luigi Mario. Wait, they made a movie out of that?
House
House
was
of
it
a
House of
Thousand
the Dead?
Corpses.
House of the Dead,
House of the Dead.
Postal.
Postal.
But
Louis
so,
Bowles did a lot of them.
I thought this was a really enjoyable movie. It's definitely something I would not mind watching again, especially just like, oh, my kids are actually asleep. And I'm just going to screw off and not care what's going on. Ooh, something's happening on the TV? Awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, putting this in a ranking really is all colored by whether or not I can watch it with my kids. And God, no. No, I'm not letting my children even know this exists.
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
Right, yeah, no, yes. But I really enjoyed it. I definitely don't think it tops Sonic or Detective Pikachu, but it's definitely enjoyable, and I am glad I had HBO Max for this movie.
Quick aside,
Hashtag
how did you all like the Warcraft movie? I never saw it, but I was curious.
They did
I-
that too? God, I thought that was just a rumor and
It
died.
followed
No,
very
that came
closely
out-
the events of the first game,
It's
so
fine.
it was actually not that bad. It was better than Assassin's Creed.
What do you think, Eddie? What you saw it with me, didn't you?
That was a movie too?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yes, they made an
Guys,
Assassin's
have
Creed
we
movie.
watched
that one?
Have you watched
Okay.
Matt's Pain yet?
Assassin's Creed.
So I think I saw both of those movies with Alex, both
I like
Warcraft
Max
and
Payne.
Assassin's Creed. Max Payne was good, but I remember sitting in the theater with Alex,
Max Payne
and
was good.
as Assassin's Creed went on, his scoring went down, and then by the end he was like, "It was a solid C minus." It's like, all right.
Oh, wait, the problem with Assassin's Creed is that there's no growth for Michael Fassbender. It is screw you and your morals, or screw you and your principles and your business, and then throughout they keep the corporation keeps trying to like get him to do stuff, and then at the end he destroys the business or he destroys the whole company, and they're like, "Why'd you do that? Screw you and your business. I don't care about anything." So it's like nothing changed. They just tried to force him to do stuff that he didn't want to do, and at the end he just like, "I don't like anything." Period.
Once again, sounds suspiciously like this podcast.
Now, Warcraft, I felt like was just trying to do too much, and unless you knew all of the lore and all of the characters, it was pretty boring. I mean, I felt like what was the guy who lived in Karazhan?
Medieval.
What's his name? Medivh looked like he was trying to sell me weed out of the back of his van. He was sweaty. His eyes were like just giant bags under his oh god.
I don't know what
constantly
this-
sweaty.
I don't know what this has to do with anything. I feel like we've
This is my fault.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
think we've actually done a pretty good job of analyzing both movies. I don't think that we need to analyze all video game movies tonight, Alex.
Okay, but I do want to say that Max Payne ruled.
I'd stand by that.
I should watch that.
It's really
Do
solid.
it.
No.
I like Mike Wahlberg. Guys, we have discussed Mortal Kombat 1995. We have discussed Mortal Kombat 2021. We all kind of sit in the camp of 2021 being a superior film, but the 1995 cannot be argued that there's camp there that's worth loving. Let's all do our one last thing. One last thing is something we say on our podcast. We have one last statement, one last sentence, sending us out of the episode and sending you, the listener, out into the world. And let's make a one last thing about these movies as a whole. For me, those were $500 sunglasses. Joel?
I appreciate what they did with Sonya in the new movie, mostly because she stole the Arcana from Tano and then used her little like armband shooter things to just blast someone through the torso. That was pretty cool.
Fair. Getty?
Your soul is mine.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Really, really.
That was
I really like that.
well worth it.
That was good.
Yes.
Yep. Alec, your one last thing?
I'm trying to remember if they actually said finish him in the movie. I don't think they did. But man, I'm looking forward to when they do.
Very nice.
They said it in the first
I
one.
want to say Shane. Yeah, I was going to say, I
Yes.
thought Shane Sun said in the first one, but
They did in the first one, but it was that ripped feeling of
But
You were
we
just
did
waiting
get a
for it,
did
huh?
over here.
I was.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. That was well placed.
Which
Yeah.
we didn't discuss why that didn't make any sense because that guy didn't speak English. No, never mind. Well, with that, I'm going to send us out of here by saying, as always, GG Joel,
Good game.
GG Getty,
Good game.
GG Alec.
Good movie? Good game.
And I actually wanted to give our little outro here too, because this is going to be on a different podcast feed. I want to say, if you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com. Provide a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks for listening. Good night, everybody.